And
hi, everyone. Oh, well, it's nice to be here with you. This is Denise Linn, and I am going to use this opportunity to be chatting with my friend Liz about something she's doing, she's excited about. But before I do that, I just wanted to check in, find out how you're doing, and in this crazy, wild time. And if you're like me, you're going up and down, and there's days that have just taken me to my knees. There's days when my heart is open to the Creator. It is a wild and crazy time. From a spiritual perspective, I think there's so much good coming out of this time. I heard. Anyway, it's like the image I have in my mind is imagining a still pool. And the first 3 inches, they look really clear. But when you get fresh water coming into that stagnant pool, it's all murky and muddy and it looks like chaos. But eventually, as that clear water flows in, you can see down to the sandy bottom. So my prayer is that's what's occurring now. And one of the things that I know about this period is we sure can use some more love. This is the time to find that place of love within, to share love, to receive love, to love yourself, to love others. And one of the things that Liz knows a lot about is love. And before I start chatting with her, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Liz. I met her because she invited me to come to the Celebrate Your Life events that she creates, which are wonderful. And she has promoted Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer and, oh my God, Elizabeth Gilbert and Lisa Ling from CNN and Glennon Doyle and Elizabeth Gilbert. I think I said her. Ayanla Van Zandt. I mean, like these amazing, wonderful speakers and from all across the board. And she brings them together in a place for people just really to open their heart and learn and grow. And what I loved when I met her was I have been teaching now for 51 years, and I've taught at conferences for over 50 years. And her conferences were different because what I felt is I felt embraced in love. And that is highly unusual in my experience. For, big events, there's a lot of other things at play. But for her events, it was just really about love. And she's going to be talking about love and romantic love today. And there's some things about Liz that I think are kind of wonderful. She, not for the whole 46 years, but she was 46 years old. She hadn't been married. She didn't have a solid relationship. She'd been in a lot of relationships, but none of them had really come to fruition. And she just thought, okay, the buck stops here. I am going to shift. I'm going to do something different because I want to be in a relationship. After she made this shift and she employed some strategies she came up with, 3 years later, she was married. She's still married to this amazing, wonderful man. I just love him. So I'm just talking all about you, but I would love it if you would share a little bit. I've shared a little bit about your story, just a little bit about your story. And go ahead. I'm just jumping.
You know me, I can just like talk and talk and talk. Hi, Denise. I just love hanging out with you. Isn't Denise fabulous, you guys? So amazing. I call her the spiritual alchemist. She definitely has magic underneath her wings. Absolutely. And I just want to acknowledge everybody that's here. There's Teresa, there's Darby and Ginger. Oh, Darby, you're going to love this conversation. And Cynthia and Kelly and Pamela. If you look over to the right of your screen, Denise.
Yeah, I don't see any people. I want the people.
No, you could just look over to the, okay, wait.
It says live comments.
Right. And then there's a comment.
Oh my God. Okay.
And
okay.
Lori's here, and Janice here, and
all right.
And Lori's here, and Helen O'Shaughnessy. Hi, Helen. So we're pulling
Johnny Roja. Oh my God. Johnny, hi.
Johnny.
You don't know Johnny, but you would love Johnny if you knew him. Oh my God.
Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny's pretty cool.
And Catherine's here, and Joy is here. It's so good to see, and Cynthia is here, Shelly's here. Okay, so I'm not going to go through like Romper Room, but you can see all the names and everybody's saying hi, and Aria's here. I had to say that beautiful name, Aria. And of course, Kira's here. All right, so the party, the gang is all here, guys. And just so you know, we're actually live streaming right now on Denise's fan page, on the Celebrate Your Life fan page, in the Celebrate Your Life Soul Fest, on my personal page, my Liz Dawn Donahue page, and we're streaming in YouTube. Isn't that amazing? So we're getting seen all over the world on like multiple channels right now. Autumn is here too. Golden is here. Just gorgeous names. I think
So jump in, honey, jump in.
Oh, now stop talking. I get so excited.
Okay, because I always think it's good to have a purpose when we do these things. And the purpose is to share with people some strategies that they can use in their own life if they are looking for love.
Okay, so here's
the strategies that work. But tell us a little bit about your story, and then I got some questions for you. There we go.
I'll stop wandering. Denise knows that. Okay, so first of all, I'm Liz Dawn, and this is going to be a conversation that might resonate for some of you, that would be applicable for you, and some of it might not. And some of you might have friends and family who this would be perfect for. So here's the deal. I was 46 years old. I, of course, have been running Mishka Productions now and Celebrate Your Life events for 25 years. So my professional life has always been like, wow, love what I do. But my personal life was a complete train wreck. And I kept struggling, and I was going in and out of relationships, and relationships wouldn't work. And every time I think I was dating someone that was going to work out, it would just fall apart. And then, have you ever had this experience where you've met somebody and it's like, whoa, that big like zazazoo, like you're really excited, you feel like you're soulmates, it's this deep connection, you feel like you've known each other for a really long time, and there's this wild sexual energy, love energy, open-hearted energy, right? And then 2 months later, the whole thing falls apart. Well, that
happens a lot.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot. And so when I was 46 years old, my life had just bottomed out personally, and I just had another relationship failure. I hadn't been married. I hadn't been engaged. I hadn't really lived with anyone. Maybe I did, maybe for like a year or so. So from the time I was 16, when I started dating, and time I was 46, I had a few really good relationships, couple, 2 or 3 really good relationships. But for the most part, they were all just, I don't know, just train wrecks. So at that time when I bottomed out, I decided that I was going to figure out, what does it take to stop this, what I call the dysfunctional relationship and dating cycle, and really truly find someone that's a match for you, someone that fits, someone that all of a sudden you've got in 3 months it doesn't implode, or someone that you keep trying to make fit for you. Well, this was my pattern. So I went on what I call the Liz dating game plan. I know that sounds really hokey, but that's what I did. I created a Liz game plan, and I went on a mission to figure out, what does it really take? And so I pulled together all the resources that I had with all the teachers I'd been working with, from all of my like therapy background, all of the stuff that I knew to do. And I did it. And I worked really hard, and I had the emotional discipline to walk away from those people that weren't a match for me. But first I had to figure out, how do I know if somebody's a match for me or not? So at any rate, I created this formula, and now I'm going to teach it, because what else does one do in isolation, right? I've actually had some girlfriends of mine say to me, Liz, you need to share this information, because nobody else is really sharing or talking about it. So I'm going to do a live stream online class, and it's going to be Thursday, June 18th, and I'll go ahead and post the URL to it. I'm making it super inexpensive. It's only $19.99. It's a 2-hour class. We're going to do it live stream. It's also going to be recorded if you can't make it live in person. So it'll be there as well. It's celebrateyourlife.com/dating. So again, it's celebrateyourlife.com/dating. I don't care if you're 48, I don't care if you're 36. I don't care if you're 98. If you're looking, if you're interested in creating a monogamous connection with someone, a life partner or serious relationship, or someone, to call your beloved, then I would highly recommend you come hang out with me. $19.99. It's like 5 coffees.
Okay, so knowing you, it's going to be great. And for the people listening right now, can you give them some tips now?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me talk about some of the dating cliches. Here's some of the dating cliches that I know all of you have heard. I know all of you have heard this. Oh, when you stop looking, someone will come into your life. Like, how many times have I freaking heard that? When you stop looking, someone will just organically come into your life. Well, that didn't happen for me because there were times in my life when I wasn't looking. But that's like saying to somebody who's unemployed, that's like saying to them, stop looking for a job and the job will come to you.
That is a really good point, because you are right.
Yes, because
there is something to that, because people who are looking so hard, they actually are focusing on what they don't have. And what you focus on is what you get. So there is something to be said for letting go. But usually when people are letting go, they're letting go so they can get it. I'm going to stop looking so I can get what I want. Well, that doesn't work. So there is some wisdom in that expression, but you're right. It is, that's one of the things that people tell people who are looking and looking and looking. Well, stop looking, it will come. So exactly. Good point.
Yes. No. Also, like, Denise, wouldn't you agree, like, with law of attraction, right? If we're going to call, like, I'm using that term because everybody has a different definition for it. But for me, law of attraction means that, I do the manifesting and I do all the magical things that I know to do. But then I also have to give signs to the universe that I'm serious about it. Mm-hmm. So if I'm giving signs to the universe I'm serious about it, I can't just sit at home and write my list of all the things that I want. I mean, this is what I realized. I have to go out and do something.
Yeah, instead of like, I want tomatoes, I want tomatoes, I want tomatoes. You actually have to go get the tomato seeds or the little plant seedlings. You have to put them in the ground. You have to water them. You have to trim them, whatever. Stake them up. Yeah, you don't just like, I want tomatoes. You got to do something.
Yes, exactly. So that's one tip, is that please don't buy into when people tell you that, when you stop looking, it'll come least expected. And those people who tell you that are happily married and have been for many years. And they've dated maybe 1 year of their life, right? I had a friend tell me this, and she'd been married for 35 years. She dated maybe 2 men in her life. And I'm on my 200th, okay? And by the way, this class, I don't care about your sexual orientation. This is going to go all across the board. Right. Straight, gay, lesbian, bi, trans, whatever. It doesn't matter. This is like information for everyone out there. Okay, another tip. This is another one that all the single people out here are so gonna love this one. So it's sort of a two-step one. So the first one is, you have to love yourself first. Okay.
I'm laughing because that's information I share with people. If you're looking for love out there, first you have to love yourself. So I'm laughing. So I want to hear what you're going to say next. Because, and I also say you got to let it go if you want it to come to you. So go ahead. I mean, you're talking to me. Okay, go ahead.
Don't tell people that, Denise. Because of course we love ourselves. We've been doing so much work on ourselves, all of you. I'm assuming that everybody watching now is a light worker, spiritual teacher, healer, or a spiritual journey person in some way, shape, or form. You love yourself, okay? You don't need to go out and do more affirmations about loving yourself. I know you love yourself. And the other one is...
but what's it? I mean, so you're saying just focus on getting the love out there. You don't really focus on loving yourself. Forget about that. Just focus on.
Hard to do, though. Oh, Denise, that was the other one. Denise Marie Combe just wrote on here. This is what I love. You have to be okay being alone. Denise Marie Combe just wrote that. You reminded me of that. That's the other one. You just have to be okay being alone. I'm okay being alone, or else I would have made a choice, a bad choice, right? If I was really, really desperate, I would have made a bad choice. So,
but you're in a better place if you are comfortable being alone. If you're desperate, people run from desperate people. So there is some value in that wisdom.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that single people, like in their 30s and 40s and 50s, like we're already comfortable. We know we're comfortable. By the time I was in my 30s, I was really comfortable being alone. Right? I knew how to serve food. I knew how to entertain myself. I knew how to take care of my own meals. I knew all that.
Okay. This is going to be a good course you're going to teach. I can tell. Okay, so what's the answer? Or do they have to come to the course to get the answer? What's the answer?
Yeah, the answer is you don't need to listen to that anymore. You don't need to listen to people telling you that you need to love yourself anymore, unless, of course, you're really hating on yourself. And of course, but I know that the people that are going to be attracted to the course, that have already done this work, that are so frustrated and up to their eyeballs, up to here, with the frustration of going from one relationship to the next, that this is going to resonate for you, and you've probably done a lot of work on it already. One of the things that we're going to do is also look at that big zazazoo that I was talking about. I just love that word. I got that from Sex and the City. Zazazoo! When you meet someone and you get that big explosion of like, this is my soulmate. This is, the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. And you've known them for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and all the signs are there. I got a sign. Yeah, when I met him, there was a rainbow in the sky.
No, but there's all the synchronicity. And
synchronicity. He had a red car. I had a red car. We both went to the same college.
Exactly. So I met a guy once, right?
It's meant to be.
Exactly. I met a guy once, and he was a spiritual entrepreneur, right? Just like me. And he was like really into spirituality. And I thought, that's my sign. Like, really? And I met another guy who his birthday was on October 7th. And my birthday's August 7th. Well, I thought that was the sign. Like, we try and find things. We try and make things fit that really aren't a fit for us. And one of the biggest signals to know when someone's not a match for you, okay, I'm going to look very, very seriously in the camera and tell all of you this that are listening, that are single and that want to. Some of you are single and comfortable. You don't want a partner. That's fine. My mom was that way after 3 marriages. I'm telling you, like a revolving door of fathers in my house. Okay? So it's oh my goodness, where was I going with that? Does anybody remember? Where was I? So here's how you know when someone's really not a match for you. One of the signs. First of all, you got to take off the rose-colored glasses about the person and look at them for real, for who they are, not for who you want them to be. And do not ever get involved with someone because they have potential. How many of you have done that? Okay, they'll change, right? But understand this, is that when you get involved with someone, you're not going to change them. They're not going to all of a sudden do the things that you want them to do to make them a match for you. And the other piece is, watch how you speak to your friends about that person. Whether it's a man or a woman, watch how you speak to your friends about that person. Because if you find yourself making excuses, or if you find yourself fabricating who they are, and you got to get down and dirty and honest with yourself. And we're going to talk about this during the 2-hour conversation, the course that I'm doing.
And I want to add, look at how you feel when you're with that person. Mm-hmm. If you feel less than great, if you notice your energy going down, and then you start to justify why, because they're so great and I'm not great, or whatever it is, that's the sign to run. Maybe this package doesn't tick all your boxes, but when you're with that individual, you feel good, you feel strong, you feel clear, you feel creative. That's a really good thing to look for, from my perspective.
Okay, so I'm gonna twist that just for a second. Okay. Because here's the deal. When you meet that person that is that big, like, that big soul connection that you think is the soul connection, it's really your cellmate, not your soulmate, okay? You do feel good, though. You do feel good temporarily for like the first 3 months. So it can be this is a hard practice, and this was a practice that I had to learn to use my discernment skills.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, I had to learn my head more than my heart, and I had to learn how to have something that I have coined as emotional discipline, which I don't have very much of. So I had to learn how to use emotional discipline, and I had to stop listening to this part of myself that was really not coming from a healthy place, but I had to learn that healthy place. And we're going to talk about that as well during those 2 hours. But those are the big things, is really look honestly at the person.
And I want to go ahead. I want to add a little something in there.
Okay.
Don't hold that thought. Is sometimes that person you think is your soulmate actually is your soulmate, but people think that soulmate means like love forever, that true love forever. Soulmates are kind of, there is such a vibrational connection that in many aspects, they're like a part of ourself. It's like Aristotle talked about the split apart, like two parts of the same whole. So imagine living with yourself. I personally would not want to live with myself. I would drive me crazy. So people get together and it's like, this is my soulmate. The signs, I'm sure this is my soulmate. And then it goes to hell because unless those individuals have really, really worked on themselves, soulmates relationships don't usually work. So that's another reason why they fall apart. So thank you for letting me kind of slip that in. Go ahead.
No, you know what? I'm sorry, Denise, I'm sort of taking over. Okay, but actually we should do this workshop together, because that is a beautiful, beautiful point. Because you're right, soulmates do come in many shapes and sizes. Like my mom was one of my soulmates. I know that. She was one of my soul connections in this lifetime. I feel very soul connected to you, to certain friends that I have. However, this idea of soulmates, where this I think commercialized idea of soulmates is kind of what I'm sort of talking about, when you feel like the heavens have opened up. And here's another big sign, you guys. When you sit down with somebody and you do your 20-minute coffee date, because I was on 4 different dating sites at once because I was on a mission, and I'm going to talk about what I did, and I'm going to give everybody a game plan. When I was on those sites, I made certain that if I started to feel, and I had to know my own body, when I started to feel that big connection with the person immediately, when I started to feel that heavy, heavy zazazoo, that's when I slowed myself down. That's when I would pull back. That's when I would wait.
Yeah, that was
exactly.
good.
Exactly. Because I knew that was my body sign. My body sign was, wow, let's jump in bed now. Sorry if that's a little too much for the Facebook page, but it's true. That was the sign for me. So I had to learn how to pull back and kind of take a step back, because all the things that we know spiritually and all the things that we've learned, and all of you out there that are spiritual, on a spiritual journey, we try to make these people fit. We take them and we try to make them fit in that box, that, oh yeah, this is going to be the person. And then my thing was 3 months. I always knew within 3 to 6 months whether it was going to implode or not. So
don't you think one of the things you need to do, and it seems like in a lot of places we're not matching, but that's good. It's good to get lots of different points of view. That for many people, they have to let go of expectations, because so many people have said, who are older, they want a relationship, said, I've waited this long. I am not going to sacrifice. And the older they get, the more defined their this is what I want, and I'm not going to have anything less because I've waited so long. And I always think, loosen it up a bit. Kiss a few frogs. It's like sometimes our expectations about he has to be or she has to be this way and have this and do that, they could keep the relationship away. So what would you say about that?
My mantra was, thank you, God, for bringing into my life a life partner, a man. I was particularly looking for a relationship with a man. My mantra was, thank you, God, for bringing into my life a man who is emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. Okay, there were 5 things. Mentally, emotion. I wasn't prepared for this, but I have this written down. and I'm going to go through this in the class also, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially healthy. Because the old pattern was not any of those things, or maybe one of those things and the other one failed. I kind of don't feel, according to how somebody's saying, I don't want to sacrifice, according to what their list looks like,
Yeah.
I would say either loosen or don't loosen. My list looked like the basics in terms of what I was looking for: someone honest, someone available, someone single.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you'd be surprised. I got involved with, okay, I'm going to let a little dirt hang out here. I got involved with 2 men that told me they were in the process of getting divorced. And then one man in particular, I got a phone call from his wife wanting to know why I was having an affair with her husband, finding out that he was not.
Oh, baby. Oh, that must have hurt. Oh, God.
Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible. But there was a really, really great lesson in there for me. So, by the way, you guys, if you've had really like up and down, really crazy, dysfunctional shit happen to you, I have stories that'll make your toes curl. Okay. Here's the deal. I give people hope. All right. Because if I was able to do it, anybody can do it. All right. But some of the biggest things are making certain that you're not just, I know that falling in love is about the heart, but you also have to use your head. So at the time when I met Jeff is my husband, and Denise, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going to share this with you. At the time when I met Jeff, I was not that drawn to him at first. I was not that attracted to him at first. Now, if any of you know Jeff, he's 6 foot, he's built, unbelievable. He is handsome, handsome, handsome. He's got hands like bear paws, and I happen to have a thing about hands. I just love people's hands. And he's got hands like bear paws. He's got his doctorate in chiropractic, acupuncture, nutrition, exercise physiology. He's had Marianne Williamson quotes and all kinds of spiritual books all over his house. And yet I wasn't attracted. And of course, that was about my stuff. So what I learned was, and what I kept telling myself is, keep going out with the nice guy. Keep going out with the good guy. Keep going out with the man that has all the qualities, all the healthy qualities that are listed on my list. And I know all of you have made those lists. I get it. Well, I really made a list, and it was detailed. And I made a list of what I didn't want as well, which is also what we're going to do. So, yeah. But here's the thing, everybody's name is Denise today. Denise Coriel, I scored, but here's the deal. We all can, because I have a very strong belief and a knowingness in my heart. And I knew this, and I would say this to myself over and over again every day. The relationship you are seeking is seeking you.
Yeah, it's a good affirmation.
Right?
That's a good affirmation.
The relationship, and out of the millions of people, how many people are on the planet, Denise? Billions? Millions?
No.
You can't tell me that there's one person out there that's a match for you and that you're a match for them. You can't tell me that. Don't buy that shit.
There is somebody for everybody. That is true. When you get rid of the blockages, the inner beliefs you have about I don't deserve it, or I can't have it, or relationships cause pain, or it's not the conscious beliefs, it's the subconscious beliefs that will run your life. So, and I hope when you have your course, you will just give an homage to creating a relationship collage, which is how I got my husband. So will you just do that? Just mention them.
Tell me about it.
Well, I didn't wait till I was in my late 40s to get married. So this was when I was younger, but I had dated a lot. A lot. It was the 60s. What can I say? It was fun.
I know.
But I was, and I actually had a boyfriend, but I just thought this is not going to go anywhere. So I created a collage. I lived with my grandmother for a few years growing up, and she did what's called treasure mapping, which is what we call collaging now, vision boards. And I did it for a relationship. And I wrote down all the words of everything I wanted. I put it on the back of the bathroom door, weird place, but when you sit on the toilet, there it is, so you could kind of focus on it. I know, don't put it in your bathroom, put it in your bedroom, next to your computer. But probably less than 2 weeks, after I created that collage, I was married to someone who was not my boyfriend, who I didn't know that well. And it does not work like this for everybody, but there's still value in doing it. What happened was I was taking a course. It was a communication course. I had taken out a loan to pay for the course. It was 62 cents a minute. I was going to have to work a year to pay that course. Every time I go to the bathroom, I'm like, 62 cents a minute, 62 cents a minute. And at the end of the course, I'm like, I haven't gotten anything. So I said to the guy, raised my hand, I haven't gotten anything out of this course, because I'm thinking I'm going to have to work. That was so much money for me. So I said, I haven't gotten anything out of this course. And he just looked at me and he said, all right, why don't you ask the guy next to you to marry you? Which, like, what? But I turned to the guy next to me and I said, will you marry me? Because I was kind of tired and cranky at that point. And the guy next to me looked at me, who I knew, but like I said, it was not my boyfriend. And he said, okay. And then I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? And then the guy said, well, when are you going to get married? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, a year. And he said, are you a woman of your word? Now, one of the most compelling forces of a human being is the need to be consistent with their values, who they believe they are. I am a woman of my word. I said, yes, I am. And he said, you've just asked this man to marry you. And he just kept pushing me. I said, okay, I'll get married tomorrow. So I called up a friend who was a judge, and this was in Hawaii, and he was on the Big Island. We got a plane the next day, flew to the Big Island. The judge, and this is kind of the 60s, so now this might be weird, but at the time he said, follow the stream to its source. There was a waterfall. So he was there with his wife, and they were playing some guitar music or something. And he said, now walk around by the waterfall. So we did, and he hollers across the pond, take your clothes off. So we're I'm like, what the heck? Taking our clothes off. We're standing there naked. He goes, get under the waterfall. So we scramble on the rocks. We're standing there. It's cold. We're just standing there under the waterfall. The judge, he takes his clothes off. He dives in the pond, swims across, gets up on the rocks. We're all standing underneath this waterfall naked, and he married us. So I am married to this guy. And 2 weeks before, I'd made a collage. So it doesn't work for everybody, but it does begin to, if you feel like, no, it can't possibly work for me, I think collages begin to reprogram your subconscious mind. And there's one thing to add. Years later, I was asked to write my biography. And so I put pictures in it because I thought, well, people aren't going to believe a lot of my stories unless I have pictures. So I had a picture of us under the waterfall, naked. And my husband did not want that photo to go in. I said, honey, no one's going to believe this. I need the photo. And I thought it was because he didn't want his mother to see this photo. And finally it came out. The photo is, I think the book is now called If I Can Forgive, So Can You. It was originally called How My Death Saved My Life.
I read it. It's fabulous.
But the picture is in there. And it turned out that he said, I hope everybody knows that that water was really, really cold. So that, but I believe in collaging, I believe in vision boards because they help reprogram the subconscious mind. And presumably one of the many things you're going to talk about is how it starts here. You have to reprogram it here. You have to believe that it's possible. You have to be able to see it possible. You have to be, it starts inside here. Yeah. So anyway, I got carried away.
I said, how many years have you been married now? That man under the waterfall.
I think it's 47. 47? Yeah. I always say 50 because I exaggerate. And it's like, no, it's 47. I know, but 47, it's almost 50. So anyway, it's been a long time.
You were such a scream. And so that was like an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
And it was an arranged marriage.
It really gave me an understanding of the power of arranged marriages because we were friends. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, it was an interesting day when I called my boyfriend the next day and said, Robin, I got married. And he's like, what? We've been boyfriend and girlfriend for a few years. But we worked it out, and eventually he became the godfather of our daughter. So it's fine now. But I even forgot what you're going to do.
That was so great. That is so great. So this is known in Yiddish, this is known as a shidduch, which means that it's an arranged marriage.
Yes. So, and I think some of the best marriages are arranged marriages because we were friends. And out of that friendship, our love grew. So
Right.
I think when you talk about, you weren't attracted to him, but he was a nice guy and he was a kind guy and he was compassionate, that sometimes those make the strongest marriages.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, because you have to and you allowed yourself to fall in love. It's the cutest story ever. I love it. Every time I hear it, I could just picture Denise just stripping her clothes off, jumping down, climbing up that wall.
Yeah, well,
If you're single or you have single friends that might be interested in the class, it's at celebrateyourlife.com. Here, let me go ahead and post the URL again. So it's celebrateyourlife.com/dating. I just posted the link again, but it's just, if you go to celebrateyourlife.com, you'll find it. And we're going to have a lot of fun, you guys. If this feels right for you, come join me. It's so inexpensive. It's $19.99. Because I'm just ready to help people out there who have been struggling with this, because I know what it feels like to struggle with the relationship up and downs, trying to find somebody that's a match for you, trying to figure out internet dating, how to do that, how not to do, all that kind of BS that we go through sometimes in being single. I'm going to bust through that. And I just want you to know that I for the first time I ever got married was when I was 49. So if for those of you that are a little bit older, yeah. I'm carrying that torch of, doesn't matter how old you are.
Okay, it does not matter how old you are.
Yes, it doesn't. Of course it does. All ages.
My grandfather entered into a new relationship when he was in his 90s.
Oh,
yes, I know. It was so sweet. So you're never too old to find love.
Absolutely not. Oh God, Helen just asked me if we're taking my class to a waterfall. And I'm going to just look at people and say, okay, you and you, let's get married now. And you figure out how to work. Oh, no, not $1,999. $20.
Well, for you, $1,900.
No.
Everybody else, $20.
$20, guys. 20 here, $20.
I'm just teasing. Okay. Well, I always love chatting with you because it's so much fun to laugh, and you always make me laugh. And I love the myths that you're busting, because they're all myths that I hold. All the things that you said was like stuff I believe. You have to let it go, and you have to be willing to. Everything you said, enjoy yourself being alone. That's all stuff I believe, and you're like, oh no. And so and you're the proof of the pudding. Like you kind of busted these myths, and it works. So I love, and you probably have other myths that you're going to be busting.
Yes, definitely. And Vandermeer, I can't say your last name, but at 71, there's definitely still 71. You're young. Come on.
Yeah, that's about how old I am. So there you go.
Come join us. Just come join us if it resonates for you.
Yeah. Sending you love. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. It feels so good to laugh amidst everything that's going on. I have not been laughing enough at all these last weeks and months. So thank you for laughing with me. Thank you for your love. Thank you, Liz, for joining me, and everyone else. Have a sweet afternoon or morning or evening, wherever you are in the world, or day.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.